It's 10 trivia questions on I Love Lucy by listener Cindy Lund. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out my show. Today's episode is all about something I love, and her name is Lucy. If you've watched as many episodes of I Love Lucy with your grandparents as I have, you are in for a treat. Before we dive into that, I have 22 peculiar names for groups of animals. So some of these you may have heard of before. Some of them might be new to you. I thought it'd be a fun way to kick off today's episode. 22 peculiar names for groups of animals. Number 1, a shrewdness of apes. A shrewdness of apes. Number 2, a battery of barracudas. Number 3, a kaleidoscope of butterflies. That's a good one. You could picture that. Number 4, a quiver of cobras. Number 5, a murder of crows. That's an Incubus album. Crow left of the murder. Number 6, a convocation of eagles. Convocation of eagles. Number 7, a charm of finches. Number 8, a skulk of foxes. Skulking around. Number 9, a troubling of goldfish. That should be a murder mystery novel. A troubling of goldfish. Number 10, a smack of jellyfish. A smack in the face. Number 11, a mob of kangaroos. Number 12, an exaltation of larks. And number 13, a troop of monkeys. 14, a parliament of owls. 15, an ostentation of peacocks. Ostentation of peacocks. 16, a rookery of penguins. 17, a prickle of porcupines. That's perfect. 18, an unkindness of ravens. 19, a shiver of sharks. 20, a pod of whales. 21, a descent of woodpeckers. And 22, a zeal of zebras. So if you didn't know a lot of those, now you know, and thanks for listening. If you have an idea for a future episode of the podcast, like my friend Cindy Lund did, drop me a line with that quiz, 10 questions, and any kind of shout out you want me to give, because I'm always looking for content for this little weekday show. Thanks to Cindy Lund for writing today's questions. Send me your questions, ryanbuds@gmail.com. And here come 10 questions on I Love Lucy. Here we go. It's 10 trivia questions on I Love Lucy from Cindy Lund. Here's question number 1. In what city do the Ricardos live on I Love Lucy? Number 1, in what city do the Ricardos live? Number 1. And number 2, Ricky comes from what Caribbean island? What is Ricky's homeland? Number 2, Ricky comes from what Caribbean island? Number 2. Number 3, what is Lucy's maiden name? Before she marries Ricky, what is Lucy's maiden name? Number 3. Number 4, what is Fred and Ethel's last name? Fred and Ethel have what last name? Number 4. Number 5, what instrument is Ricky famous for playing? Number 5, what instrument is Ricky famous for playing? Number 6, Lucy and Ethel pose as space aliens atop what famous building? Number 6, Lucy and Ethel pose as space aliens atop what famous building? Number 7, what network aired I Love Lucy for 6 seasons? What was the network for I Love Lucy? Number 7. Number 8, what was the name of the tonic that Lucy pitched in a TV commercial on Ricky's show? What was the name of the tonic that Lucy pitched in a TV commercial on Ricky's show? Number 9, what is Ricky's signature song? What is Ricky's signature song? And number 10, Lucy turns purple in Italy by doing what activity? Lucy turns purple in Italy doing what activity? those are all of your questions for I Love Lucy trivia from Cindy Lund. We'll be right back in just a second with the answers to I Love Lucy. We are back with the answers to I Love Lucy trivia. Did you get 10 out of 10? I think I would have if I was playing. I do like this show quite a bit. Thanks for the questions, Cindy. Here's number 1. In what city do the Ricardos live? This show takes place in New York City, NYC, the Big Apple. Number 1. Number 2, Ricky comes from the Caribbean island of Cuba. Number 3, Lucy's maiden name is McGillicuddy, which I have to imagine is Irish, right? McGillicuddy. Number 4, what is Fred and Ethel's last name? Mertz. Fred and Ethel Mertz. And Ethel, much, much younger than Fred. I think 30 years difference, at least 20, if not 30. And she never liked him because they argued a lot on the set about how she would never be married to someone that much older than her, from what I read. Number 5, what instrument is Ricky famous for playing? Bongo drums. Plays the bongo drums. And number 6, Lucy and Ethel pose as space aliens atop the Empire State Building. That makes sense if they're in NYC. Number 7, the network that aired I Love Lucy for 6 seasons is CBS. Number 8, what was the name of the tonic that Lucy pitched in a TV commercial on Ricky's show? Vita Mita Vegemin. Famous episode. She gets a little sauced off of that stuff. Number 9, what is Ricky's signature song? Babaloo. And number 10, Lucy turns purple in Italy by doing what activity? Stomping grapes. Stomping grapes in Italy. That's crazy old Lucy. And that is today's quiz. Thank you, Cindy, for the questions. And here's your fact of the day. The average person makes about 1,140 telephone calls each year. 1,140 telephone calls each year. I got to imagine that number has gone down since smartphones came out because nobody really wants to talk on the phone, right? It's not just me, right? There. And that's funny. My phone went off as I was saying that. All right. Thank you for listening. Thanks for telling a friend, and we'll see you next time for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers.